Before I get started with this video, I would like to briefly reference the Patreon link that I left in the description box to my most recent video. And I want to also start off by thanking each and every one of the brothers who have attempted to donate to that Patreon link. I know everybody who attempted to donate stated that they were unsuccessful. Many which had left comments stating that they were unable to donate, and I responded back to a few that I could, letting them know that I'm currently working on the issue. Now, as far as Patreon is concerned, I didn't go over the modules as I was setting up the account and how it has modules to where people can become paying Patreon members, or I guess have a reoccurring charge or fee or whatever the case may be, which will grant you access to videos on Patreon exclusively to paying Patreon members. It might be something that I decide to do down the line, but as of right now, I want to keep it nice and simple. If you want to donate, you can feel free to do so. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be placing a link for a PayPal and a Cash App link. That way we can just keep this nice and simple. There's no reoccurring charge. If you want to donate as many times or as little as you like, that once again be up to you. Down the line, I might consider doing that with Patreon, but as of right now, the first thing I want to do is get set up on the Black Avenger, or better yet, the new Black Avenger TV website. I believe it's important for us as black men to have our own means of social media or video sharing platforms. So what I will be doing is I'll either contact either Brian Solange or David Carroll, and I will get the link to that new Black Avenger. I believe it's titled under a different name. I'm not sure. But I would say maybe sometime in January or February is when I would like to start posting on that platform. But that's down the line, and once I get everything set up, I'll be letting people know more so about the details. Now, with that being stated, what I do want to address is this April Mason situation. Every one of y'all know about this. This took place a couple of weeks ago, about her cousin allegedly almost being abducted into the sex trafficking industry, and then we come to find out that this entire thing was a hoax. Now, what I will be doing, because I've listened to a couple of brothers post videos about this entire scenario, but the one thing I have not seen was any of these brothers actually leave the link in the description box to the actual video footage in the gas station. And this is what, if you look in the link in the description box of this video, you will find that link. So you can actually go ahead and view the footage for yourself and draw your own. Well, the conclusion for the most part has already been drawn. Unless you're a simp ass Negro, then that's another story. But April Mason's story, I think she got on and produced about 5 or 6 videos, somewhere around that. And I got around to looking at the last 3 when the story first came to my attention. And I first caught wind of the story through Crystal and Karazin. Now, April Mason is also the same woman who is a supporter of black love and the biggest cheerleader of black men, one who's been backing us up for the longest. But see, now that starts to become questionable to me when I can listen to the likes of a Chrissy and a Crystal and Karazin endorsing the lights of an April Mason. You see, when I hear something like this, automatically that's a red flag sign to me. And I've actually known of April Mason, I believe it was, since when I first came on YouTube, 2011. As a matter of fact, I believe I even posted a response video to hers back at that time. Of course, I would have to go to the archives. The video would be set to private now, but I'm pretty sure if I look through the archives, I'll find that video. If it was her that I have in mind when I made that video. But anyhow, as I'm listening to this through Crystal and Karazin, she left a link to April Mason's live stream. So I said, let me go ahead and just get the information from the horse's mouth itself. And as I'm sitting down and I'm listening to this whole thing unfold, automatically, I knew that April Mason was full of shit. And there was a couple of things that really brought it up to me. The first thing that struck my eye to how I knew that April Mason was full of shit is when she got online and talked about, well, I feel unsafe in my own home. Pretty much putting a post on social media, whether it be Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, putting this post up on social media and then expecting black men to come to her aid based off of a post that you put on social media. I mean, the first thing, as far as I'm concerned, if you try to message me, well, I'm not even going to say message because it's not even a direct message. It's not a DM. It's not something that's in your inbox. So if you're looking to get my attention by putting a post on your wall or on your timeline on social media and you're expecting me to respond, you'll be lucky if I even see it. That's how little attention I pay to these damn things. But this is essentially what we're dealing with. So, long story short, April Mason made the complaint that her cousin was almost abducted by some Negroes following around in a Dodge Charger. Then come to find out that whole thing was a hoax. I'm not going to go through the entire scenario again. We've seen that it was a hoax. What I will say is none of the actions that were taken by her cousin were consistent with that of the actions of somebody who's in fear for their lives. That right there is a complete giveaway. I mean, if we look at the video footage in the store, which, like I said, the link is in the description box. Y'all can pause the video and take a look at it at your discretion. But what you're going to notice is, because she stated that this man followed her into the store and started, hitting on his side, almost as if he's trying to insinuate he has a gun in his pocket. But as we see her walk inside the store, if you knew that there were 3 men following you around in this mysterious Dodge Charger, which we never see, then why weren't you calling the police when you got inside of the gas station? Out of all the people that were inside of that gas station, how come you didn't try to flag down not a single one of them? How come you didn't go to the store clerk and let them know, listen, my life is in danger. There's a guy following me. There's 3 men in his car outside, and they're trying to kidnap me. I mean, at what point in time do you actually do this? And I remember a similar situation which would validate what I'm saying. This is damn near about 20 years ago. And I'm riding on my bike heading back home. And I remember as I'm riding, I see a black dude running past me. And he said something to me, and I couldn't really hear him. Then I see a group of other men, about 4 or 5 other men, chasing him. Then it started to make sense what he said. He said, yo, ease, they jumped me, fam. So I'm like, okay. I mean, long story short, he managed to get away. But the point being is when you're in fear of your life, because you don't know what these men are going to do to you, you got 5 guys chasing you, you don't know they got weapons on you, you don't know how far they're going to go. You're in fear for your life. You're looking to reach out to anybody that can potentially help you. You're letting anybody that you see, a bystander on the street riding his bike, yo, ease, they're jumping me, fam. Letting people know that, listen, I'm in danger. Can you help me? So my question would be, at what point in time does April Mason's cousin actually show any signs of this? Because none of the above took place. In that video footage that you look at, what you see is her walking inside the store and just looking around and then spending more time on her phone. Now, the man that they are accusing walks into the store, goes all the way to the back of the store, grabs some items off the shelf and walks to the cashier and pays for his items. I mean, I think the only time they even came within close range of each other is when he was approaching the cash register, because I guess he figured she was online. And then when she wasn't online, she walks to the other side and he goes ahead and pays for his items and leaves. Once again, no sign of fear, no nothing. Then as you look at the video footage of her getting in her Uber, she said that this car followed her as she was in the Uber. Clearly you see the Uber car following behind a police SUV. When do you flag down that car, that cop car? If that's not enough, when do you would figure these would be consistent within the actions of somebody who's in fear for their lives. You would flag down that cop car. or if you couldn't do that, you will tell the Uber driver to drive you to a police station or the nearest police precinct if you felt these people were following you. Or you would have them meet you at your job. This is where she ended up going. And said that these people were so emboldened that they, instead of trying to actually kidnap her, they follow. This whole time they make themselves so blatantly obvious. And then what she mentioned happens next. It really just it lets you know that they're full of shit. That they park their car and go inside of a Chick-fil-A or some fast food franchise and sit down and have lunch. I mean, what the fuck? Are you serious? I mean, listen, man. Once again, if you felt your life was in danger, how come you didn't call the cops? How come you didn't have them meet you at your job? You're sitting there watching these guys from across the street, sitting at a fast food restaurant, eating lunch, looking at you, and you don't think to call the cops. Basic common sense. Inconsistent. A complete contradiction. But now, if you notice what is taking place here, or better, let me say this much. Because, I mean, just if you think of somebody who's looking to kidnap somebody, you would consider that a stealth attack. An attack that you don't even see coming. You know, animals in the wildlife kingdom do this. Lions, tigers do this. What does a lion do when it's looking to hunt down a buffalo or a wildebeest or a gazelle? They get down low. In many cases, they don't want you to know that I'm coming for you. Because if you know, that gives you time to do what? Prepare. It might give you time to fight back. It might give you time to flee the scene before you can even be captured. So in many cases, it will be a failed attempt for men who are attempting to kidnap you and bring you into the sex trafficking industry to go and be that emboldened. It just makes no fucking sense. Because there's too many chances where you can actually get away or call the cops since their cover's already blown. You know the kind of car that they're driving. You should have had the license plate number. Did you get the license plate number? I mean, once again, nothing of this story was consistent with that of somebody looking to kidnap a woman to bring her. And then furthermore, this is a 42-year-old woman. We're not talking about no spring chicken. This is a 42-year-old woman. So when we sit back and think of this, I mean, nothing about this story makes any goddamn sense. Okay? Then furthermore, within the live stream that April Mason has produced, once it came out that this whole thing was a lie, it was made up, and her cousin got arrested for it. Then all of a sudden, she decides to have or get into a live stream and attempt to chastise black men, attempt to lecture us on what masculinity and protection really is. Furthermore, if that's not bad enough, she gets on gets one of these simp-ass Negroes to get in the damn video. Furthermore, attempting to lecture black men on what masculinity really is. And this is what the Negro said. You know, it's bad enough when you have black women attempting to set us up like this as black men. It is even that much worse when you have black men co-signing this bullshit. Because this is what the Negro said, and once again, these are all walking contradictions. This Negro mentioned how any other time you black men are saying F the police. Now, when they're trying to turn you against one of your own, you believe them. What do you mean when you say one of our own? That's the first thing I want to know. Because if you're classifying one of our own as a black female who would get online and make up a bold-faced lie attempting to get black men put in furthermore danger, I'm sorry, that's not one of my own. I don't have to defend that. Nor will I. But then here's the next thing that really just... So this is what he says. See, you black men are a commodity in this society. So I don't remember what he said verbatim after that, but I know what he said. He tried to allude to the thought of black men being a commodity and just being this, cops are not trying to arrest us. That police officers are doing everything in their power to ensure the safety of black men. in this country. They don't want to see black men in jail because black men have not been getting shot up by police left and right for the past 5 or 6 fucking years now. Black men do not make up more than 50% of the prison population. You don't see all these videos of black men being shot down in the middle of the streets by police. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Everything about this is a walking contradiction. And the fact that you have a simp-ass Negro who would get on a video using these talking points, I mean, this shit right here is a problem. Because the problem that I have is we know how easy it is to get black men locked up. We've seen how often people will shoot down black men and walk away scot-free. I mean, shit, you got Amber Geiger. Walks into a black man's home in the safety of his own home and guns him down and gets a hug in the courtroom and gets a Bible passed down to her by the damn judge. I mean, you make sense of this. Because black men are such a damn commodity in this society. I mean, with everything that is taking place, the audacity for one of you simp-ass Negroes to get online and say such stupid shit like this. Because we understand that black men have been getting locked up for rape allegations for years. Falsely accused of rape allegations. And if black men are such a commodity and police are doing such a fine job in trying to ensure that we stay out of jail, I mean, you would figure who would be the highest commodity is a rich black man. And since we have a billionaire sitting in prison right now, and I'm talking about Bill Cosby, so he was such a high commodity that he couldn't even keep his black ass from getting locked up off of false rape allegations. They completely changed the statute of limitations. They completely reconfigured everything, rearranged the law in its entirety just to get him locked up. The funny thing is, Harvey Weinstein and all these other white men who were accused of the same shit, guess what? They ain't sitting in no damn prison. They're not. So when you hear a simp-ass Negro getting online, trying to insinuate that black men are such this commodity in society that they just ain't trying to get you locked up, man, listen, understand this much. It is so easy to get a black man locked up that even a fucking caveman can do it. This is the reason why we are less than 13%, well, no, what is it, 13% of the population, but yet make up more than 50% of the prison population. How do you explain these numbers, man? How do you do this? Furthermore, how do you as a black man get online and co-sign your own fucking demise? How do you do this? Now, in this video, if you hear me pausing the video for a second, it's because I'm taking the time to blow my nose because, well, I didn't mention that I'm actually getting over a cold, so you're going to have to bear with me for a second. But here's what I want y'all to understand. When I listen to black men get online and say to April Mason, you owe us an apology, I got to wonder, why would you expect one out of her? Because I told y'all, with that last video that I did, what was it, the elephant in the room they pretend never existed? I told y'all I was going to do a part 2 to that one, and here it is right here. I can't believe I forgot to actually mention that at the beginning of the video. But this is that part 2. And actually, the April Mason situation is a perfect segue into this part 2. Because I told y'all, you better be careful when you start hearing these talking points out of some of these damn women. I told y'all this. And a lot of y'all are under the impression, when I hear y'all say, April Mason, you owe us an apology. You owe us an apology because it came to find out that your cousin lied and you owe us an apology. What that lets me know is that you black men are somehow under the impression that April Mason is completely oblivious to the fact that this whole thing was a lie. As if she wasn't in on it herself. And this is another reason why I tell you, if you're running around expecting her to give you an apology and what she says she's not going to do it, that is equivalent to you expecting to squeeze water out of a brick. It just simply ain't going to happen. This is another reason why you would never find me get on no damn video telling you owe us an apology, April Mason. You owe it. No, I'm not doing that. Because I know what time it is with her. I know that you're in on this. And for those of you black men who don't understand this, I don't know what else I can tell you. But let me go ahead and get on with this. Because after that, April Mason follows up that video from that simp-ass Negro with her own video. Once again, attempting to lecture black men on what masculinity is. Now, just notice how she was sitting in this, or standing around in this video in a little tight pink dress on. Okay? Just pay attention to that. Because this is what they think this is what they think all it takes for them to get your protection, to get you to go out here and act a fucking fool for them, to go out here and put your life on the line. If I stand in front of this video or in front of this camera with this little tight dress on, then you know what? That should be enough to get you Negroes to go out here and do as I tell you to do. What she really wants you to do is to believe her damn story. That's what this really is. All of the shaming tactics that she's trying to tell you about black men and what she expected about social media posts, no, that's not what she wanted. What she wants is for you to believe her. Take what I'm saying seriously. I told y'all that part 2 is going to be setting the stage for that revolving door. A lot of you black men might not understand this just yet, but I'm going to break it down for you. So now let's go ahead and deal with this. So April Mason states and says the same talking points that this Negro stated. Any other time y'all saying F the police. Any other time you don't believe the police. But yet when it comes down to them turning you against one of your own, you believe them. But yet, according to that Negro, the cops are doing everything in their power to not lock up a group of men who say F the police. Just understand the contradiction about that. The cops are in favor of groups of men who do not like them, who do not trust them, who feel that their lives are in danger. Just cops are like, okay, well, you know what? We need to make sure these black guys are safe. I mean, come on, which one is it? It makes no damn sense when you thoroughly think about this. But this is the insanity, the irrational thinking of not only a simp-ass Negro who will get online and defend a foolish female like this, but also this very foolish female herself. And also when she goes as far as to say, well, you know, you believe the 2-minute video. Any other time you don't believe what they're saying, but you believe a 2-minute video where they lied to you. Okay. But then immediately, well, I'm not going to say immediately, but contradicts herself by saying, well, you seen in the video that every time the dude walked up to her, she was walking away. She was dodging and weaving. Every time he walked up to her, she walking away. Oh, hold on a second, April Mason. Which one is it? Do we believe the 2-minute video footage you tell us not to believe because it's being given to us by our enemies? Or do you always to believe what we're seeing? But only believe it when it fits your narrative. When it convenience. Well, no, as a matter of fact, it doesn't, because there's no part of that video footage that actually fits your narrative. None whatsoever. There was only one time the two actually came within close corridors of each other, and that's when he was approaching the register. And then your cousin walked to the other side of the damn store, and that was it. That's it. He paid for his item and left. And like I told y'all before, all of this commodity black man bullshit that this Negro will get online and talk about, it is so easy to lock up a black man. Even a caveman can do it. It is that fucking simple. It is that. I mean, listen. If black man was such a goddamn, you know what? Let me not even do that. Let me not do that. Let's just stay on the topic here. As I'm sitting down and I'm listening, and this is what gave it away for me a long time ago, is when April Mason, excuse me for a second, I just had to pause the video for a brief second. But this is where I was already done. I didn't even waste my time. I was like, you know what, I don't got to go any further with this. Initially I didn't even have to watch all of her live streams. I only watched the last 3. I think she made about 5 of them. And I watched the last 3. I just got around watching her initial video that she did when this whole thing supposedly happened. And she stated in that initial video, just like she stated in her live stream that she done afterward, that when this whole thing happened, that she felt unraveled. That she put up a post on social media stating that she feels unsafe in her own home. Right then and there. That is a red flag sign. Right? I mean, listen, man, like I told y'all, none of the actions of her cousin were consistent of that of a woman who was about to be kidnapped, whose life was in danger, none of the above. The actions of the dudes that she tried to describe were not consistent of that of a predator who's going to allow himself to be, or allow themselves to be seen and spotted on so many different levels, to the point where you're risking blowing your cover and putting yourself at risk of getting caught. The actions are completely inconsistent, just like the actions of April Mason were completely inconsistent, which is another reason why I don't understand when I listen to you black men get online and talk about, you owe us an apology. That is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And when she gets online and says, well, I put up a post on social media stating that I feel unsafe, and no black man came to my aid, despite the fact that she eventually admitted that one or two of them actually did contact her, wanted to make sure she was safe. I mean, you look at how April Mason is living. Do you think in the safety of your own home, do you think that woman doesn't have a gun in her home? I mean, look at the appliances. Look at the way she dresses. Marble Island countertops, stainless steel appliances, mahogany wood cabinets. I mean, she lives in a fucking mansion, has a gym in her own home. Sitting down in front of gas fireplaces on Facebook and Instagram. Are you serious? You don't feel safe in your own home. Listen, man, the first thing when I hear something like this is if you felt so unsafe in your own home. If you felt so unsafe in your own home, why didn't you contact somebody personally? Why didn't you contact any men that you know personally? Family members, close friends, hell, even acquaintances, if you will. Why would you go to social media to try to get a reaction out of black men? To get black men to run around, what you need help with, sis? What you need me to do? What you need me to do? You want me to come sleep outside on the driveway? You need me to come stand on the front door? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You see, a lot of y'all might be under the impression that she was expecting black men to come through and come to her aid. No, she wasn't. Nor is it what she wanted. This is another reason why when she put up those posts on social media, they were so vague. I feel unsafe in my own home. What do you mean? Explain. How do you feel unsafe in your own home? Are you starting to hear a bump in the night? Did you see something? Are you having power outages? What the hell? Is there somebody running around outside your house? What do you mean? Please specify. And once again, if you're in that level of danger, why didn't you call the police? And then understand this much, because even on some of these live streams that she held, when people ask her legitimate questions, when you black men ask her legitimate questions, like one of y'all asked, why wasn't the first action of your cousin to call the police? The first thing she immediately starts doing is going in on a tangent, calling y'all stupid. Because what it is, she doesn't want you to think. She doesn't want you to find out what's really going on, to get to the nitty gritty, to find out what the hell happened. No, you're just supposed to believe me. This is all this is about. All of these shaming tactics and this talk about masculinity. And listen, let me tell you something right now. Because I've said this years ago. Because you have black women who will get online and attempt to chastise black men on what masculinity really is, being a protector really is. And I've stated this time and time again. Listen, black woman, you do not determine that for me. What do you mean? It's simple. You do not determine, nor are you qualified to get to lecture me as a black man on what masculinity really is. First of all, number one reason, you're not a man. Number two, we understand that the majority of black people are reared in single parent households, be it single women, single black mothers. And when you factor in what you see about black men, and yes, a lot of y'all do have legitimate complaints when it comes down to the behavior of black men. That they have catty behavior, many of them are effeminate, many of them do some questionable shit. Yes, absolutely. But once again, when we look at this, who were the majority of these black men reared by? Okay? So since you are such an expert on black masculinity, knowing what it takes to be a real man, being a protector, being a provider, being a leader, if you were such an expert at this, if you had such a thorough, strong knowledge of this, then clearly we should see otherwise compared to what we see right now in black society. We should see otherwise than what we see when we look at black men today in today's day and age. And we don't. Now I know what y'all excuse is going to be. I know what it's going to be. Oh, well, you black men. You see, this is, you weren't in the picture. The father's abandoned. Oh, no. We ain't even going to go there. We're not going to go there. Because since you are attempting to lecture black men on black masculinity, being a man, being a protector, being a provider, on what real black men do, according to April Mason, that black men don't need incentives to protect. Man, get the hell out of my face with that. But since you're have such a strong knowledge of this, it should not matter whether you have a man in the picture or not. Because if you knew what you were doing when it came down to black masculinity, then clearly we would see a different result, and we don't. Based off of your teachings alone, you would be able to rear these boys into manhood, and we see that has not happened. It is just that simple. That's simple. But yet and still at the same time. But let me just say this, because this is their idea of what being a real man is. It's for whenever a woman cries wolf, you don't stop to find out what happened. You don't ask any questions. You don't have any well-being or any concern for your own well-being or your own livelihood or your life. That you are supposed to come flying through, go into a situation blindfolded. And what I want y'all to do is ask many brothers who have found themselves in that situation. Many of them you probably aren't going to get any answer from. Because how many of them have found themselves having their lives altered for the worst? Behind listening to the definition of being a real man according to another female and acting upon that. How many of them have found themselves in jail based off of those same actions? Or how many of them, and this is another reason why many of them are going to be able to answer you, how many of them have found themselves deceased behind trying to live up to the standards of what a woman classifies as a real man to be? And once again, I say no to that. I say no to that. And here's what I find funny. Because these females will literally shame you as men for having concern in putting yourself first. They expect you to go out of your way to defend women that you don't know. It's based off of that post that she put on social media. She expected men that she didn't even know that well. No, actually, no, she didn't expect that. So let me just stop using that terminology. But what she tried to make it seem as if she expected men that she didn't know that well to get on to read that post and be willing to put themselves in danger. Not even knowing what she was talking about. Being very vague in her description, giving no thorough description to as of what was taking place. Because the fact of the matter is she was never in no danger. The next question I would ask, do you think that April Mason doesn't have a gun in that home that she lives in, that mansion that she's staying? Do you think that she's not packing heat? So when you black men are under the impression that thinking that this is what she was looking for, or, let me just say this much. To any female who thinks that this is the way a man is supposed to act, no. Especially when they don't know you. I don't understand what makes women under the impression that men are supposed to just suddenly put their lives at risk and have no concern for themselves to live up to a female's standards of manhood. You must be out your damn mind thinking some stupid shit like this. I mean, any living organism's first priority is self-preservation. Now, let me go ahead and reframe this and just make it perfectly clear. It's one thing for your wife to expect that. It's one thing for somebody in your family to expect that. It's one thing for women that you personally know to expect that. That's a little different. But for somebody who's just merely an acquaintance, somebody on the job putting up a tweet or a post on social media talking about they feel unsafe, and here you come running over like a goddamn idiot. No, I'm not here to do that shit. You call the damn police and let them do what they get paid to do. I'm not putting myself at risk like that. Are you serious? But this is what these females, or what this woman is. Oh boy. Okay. So for those of you who are under the impression that she was actually looking for black men to come to her aid, just notice how there were some black men who actually asked her, do you need me to come by? Notice how she specifically honed in. It doesn't matter whether it was just one black man who offered to stop, drop what he was doing, and come over there. All you need is one. But notice who she focused in on. She focused in on the black men who didn't respond to her right away. The black men who didn't get back to her until the next day. This is what she focused in on. And this is another reason why I say I got to change that talking point, because she was not looking for those who are going to actually show up and ensure her safety. As a matter of fact, what you ask her, this is how you find out whether she's full of shit. You ask her for the one or two dudes who actually contacted you and said, listen, you need me to come over. Did you actually allow them to come over and ensure you were going to be safe? Did you actually allow them to come over and sit in your driveway? Did you actually allow them to come and stay on your couch because you were so unsafe now? Now, I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to go on a limb and say she said no. I'm all right. Thanks for asking. But chances are, if you go ahead and you ask her these questions, she's going to tell you some other dumb shit or try not to answer the question. She's going to try to give you another lecture or call you stupid once again, because this is what it is. But this right here, if she tells you no, then you know the answer is she's completely full of shit. Because she wasn't looking for those who were going to come forth and protect her. What she was looking for were the guys who weren't going to respond. Why? Because that fits the narrative. What's the narrative? To pave the way for that revolving door. And just understand, black man, what little value to yourself that you're putting yourself in. If a woman, because she classified stand-up men, is a man, because she referenced how a dude who has a girlfriend didn't even care that he could be leaving. I don't know whether the man has a family or not, but listen, if you got a wife and kids at home, you got a lady, your priority is to come home to your damn woman. Your priority as a goddamn man is to come home to your goddamn family, not worrying about some colleague or an associate. You put some shit like that up, do you need me to call the police because I'm not showing up? Do you need me to contact the local authorities to ensure your safety? What do you need? Just that damn simple. But notice this much. Just notice how the low value that she'll put you under as a black man. That you as a real black man have to be willing to show up to her home and sleep on her front door. Sleep in her driveway. Sleep on her living room couch. Okay? First of all, if I'm showing up to ensure your safety, I'm coming out of my goddamn way, putting myself at risk. You better have, number one, a home-cooked meal for me by the time I get there. And once I've ensured the place is safe and secure, there better be a home-cooked meal waiting for me. Number two, you better have a warm bed for me to sleep in, especially looking at where you live. You live in a fucking mansion. All right? There's no way in hell I'm sleeping in your goddamn garage. There's no way in hell I'm standing outside on your porch. It ain't happening. There's no way in hell I'm sleeping in your driveway. You must be out your fucking mind. That's a goddamn insult. So there has to be some things that need to be established if I'm coming over there to ensure your safety. Number one, a home-cooked meal better be made for me. Number two, I better have a warm bed to sleep. Preferably your bed, but you know, fine. We ain't gonna go there. We're gonna keep this video clean. So I'll settle for a warm bed to sleep in. And some breakfast in the morning. These are the conditions. Now, see, a lot of these females will tell you, well, no, well, see, why do you need to go ahead and, because I'm putting my life at risk. First of all, I wouldn't do it. It ain't going to happen, but I'm saying for those who are going to do it, listen, there needs to be some expectations out of this, man. Don't expect me to go ahead and go out my damn way for you. And then here's the next thing. When a lot of y'all were asking the question, how come you didn't contact the police? How come you didn't get in contact with these people or that people? She said, why aren't you doing it? You do it. This is what she said in the live stream. You do it. Just understand what we're dealing with here, because once again, this is completely inconsistent with the actions of a woman who feels that her life is in danger. She's not going to sit there and tell you, you do it. You got a phone in your damn hand. You're walking around the gas station with this damn phone. How come you haven't contacted anybody except for your rideshare? Why? Because you never were in danger. So when you black men get online and say, April Mason, you owe us an apology because now that they come out your cousin was lying, how could you still back her? Why? Because she was in on that lie as well. That fucking simple. No woman who feels that her life is in danger. And it's not like April Mason's a broke woman where she doesn't have access to a phone. If you can get on social media, you can have access to a damn phone. But we're going to leave that one as is. It's not like you don't have access to a phone. It's not like you don't have access to communication to be able to contact people to come look out for your safety if you really were in danger. Because the fact of the matter is, if you really were in danger, you're not getting on social media attempting to lecture black men on how unsafe you felt. You're going to go ahead and take necessary action to make sure or to ensure your safety. It is just that simple. That is some of the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen and heard of in my life. But the fact of the matter, for those of y'all who are under the impression that she was looking for black men to come through and ensure her safety, once again, ask her how many of those black men did she actually allow to come through and ensure her safety. The first thing that I would ask is this. If you feel unsafe in your own home, I mean, we can say what we want to say about April Mason. She's a liar. She's full of shit. She cannot be trusted. But she's not an unattractive woman. She's a very attractive woman. So my question is, where is your man? Where's he at? How come you couldn't get on the phone and contact him to come to your house to ensure your safety? Why is that? Oh, you don't have one? Okay, fine. This is all about black love, and I'm all about you black men, but yet you don't have a man. All right, fine. We'll let that one slide under the rug. But now my question is, you mean to tell me you're not dating? You don't have black men that you're dating? Somebody that you're talking to? Are friends with benefits? You mean to tell me that you can't get on the phone and contact him or them to ensure that they make sure that you're safe? Why is this? Do you think April Mason is celibate? I mean, that's just just ask yourself this question. Why is she expecting Negroes that know her through social media to want to come to her rescue rather than putting the onus on those that she might actually know? When do you contact a family member? A close friend? I'm going to tell you the reason why she hasn't done this and why she wouldn't do it. Because she was not if black men came flocking in droves and responded to her on social media in droves, that wouldn't have fit the narrative. She wasn't looking for that. She needs to spin this narrative. Why? Because she has to get you black men to believe that you ain't shit. She has to guilt trip you. She has to shame you into a corner, back you or pin you up against the wall to where you cannot refute her. This is why she needed this response. She needed for black men not to respond to her. She needed black men to be like, listen, I was sleeping, so I didn't even see the damn post. Because she was not looking for those who would actually come through to ensure her safety. What she was looking for was those who weren't. Because the narrative is that black men are not protectors. Black men do not provide. Us black women, we don't feel safe. And by that means, what she did was she got online and she showcased her true colors. Because to the very same woman who was all about black love, and I care so much about black men, and I used to tell black women stick with a black man, but now I'm like, find love wherever you can. What April Mason did was showcase her true colors. Now, April Mason is not going to tell you this, but I will. And this is what the likes of many black females will get online and tell you when you classify them as such. Is show where? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? No, I don't need no proof. Don't need the proof. I'm going off of your talking points. I'm going off of how far you are willing to go to cook up a story about black men, throw us under the bus as a collective to justify find love where you can. April Mason is a swirler. It is just that fucking simple. She's a swirler. She's a swirler, and her cousin is a swirler. This is also another reason why when people say, well, why don't you get your cousin on a fucking video to go ahead and debunk what's being said by these police, to go ahead and showcase where they're wrong. She can't do it. Oh, my cousin doesn't feel safe anymore. She feels betrayed. No, your cousin knows she's full of shit, just like you know she's full of shit. Just like you're full of shit. Because April Mason will expect you not to believe that video footage. Y'all believe the 2-minute video. Okay, well, what I asked you to do, if what we're seeing on this link that I left in the description box, if the 2-minute video footage is so deceiving, if it's not accurately conveying what had taken place that day, then what I need you to do is to give us a thorough breakdown. And let me just go ahead and use an example. In 2015 is when I had a fallout with Sotomayor. Okay, for those of you who remember what took place, you remember that at one point he initially got on his live stream and he brought me up into the equation. Okay? Now, like I said before, I will never have, if somebody decides they don't care to talk to me anymore, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not that of the ilk who's going to shame somebody who says, listen, I'd rather not deal with that brother. That's your given right. That's it. You ain't going to hear me talking about it. I'll leave it alone. But he initially got on one of his live streams and started slandering me. And I'm sitting back like, wow, like I knew there was some bullshit going on, but I said, all right, I'm going to keep quiet about it. Hey, it is what it is. But he got on the live stream and started slandering me. I responded to him in a comment thread. He went as far as to producing videos. He made multiple videos telling people, go to his website. Come to my website. I'm going to show you the screenshots of what happened between me and the brother of logic and common sense. This is what he told you. I made a brief video stating, listen, I'm going to have a video up in about a week. Right now, I'm busy at the moment, but I'm going to have a video in about a week, and I will showcase everything for how it went down, word for word, line by line. So he posted his screenshots on his website. I had multiple Negroes coming at me saying, oh man, because the narrative was this guy's a hater. He's jealous because I didn't return his phone call. He's jealous because he was begging me to hang out. This was the narrative he was spinning. A complete fallacy. And I had multiple Negroes because they didn't hear my response. Oh, you just hating. I'm disappointed in you. You're lame. How could you do this? All this stupid shit these Negroes were saying to me. And I told them, stay tuned. Stand by. I'll have a video up in a week. And when I produced my video, I showcased line by line how everything transpired for the past 2 years. Okay? And I'm talking about way even back to when I initially linked up with him back in 2014 and we did the videos. Okay? He even mentioned how he was going to flag down the videos that I had with him on it. If you don't take my videos down, your whole channel goes bye-bye. And no, he couldn't flag the videos down. Why? Because they weren't his videos. They were my videos, my content, property that belongs to me. But when I showcased the videos with how everything transpired, I showcased, listen, not only am I going to tell you that you should believe me, but I'm going to prove to you why you can believe what's coming out my mouth. And when I produced those videos, completely debunking everything that he was stating, showcasing that what he showed y'all was a complete fallacy. It was inaccurate, blatant lies, and how he pretty much tried to set the stage to make me look like I was this jealous guy who was pissed off because he wouldn't return my phone call. Key word, phone call. I think it was maybe 2 phone calls I made to him, and that was it. And what he was doing was setting the stage, trying to get other people to contact me saying, hey man, I'm disappointed that he didn't contact me. I'm disappointed that he's not here at my live event. I'm disappointed. And so when I did contact him, because these people were reaching out to me saying, hey, he expects to hear from you. He expects to hear from you. Call him. But I'm only going to call about so many times. I'll call once, I'll leave a message once, and that's it. Done. You can decide to get back to me if you want to. If you don't, cool. But I'm not going to keep on contacting someone. I don't work that way. But when it came forth, what really happened, everyone, even my detractors, or for those who were the naysayers, for those who didn't believe me, had to eat their words. Even my detractors were like, yo, man, he delivered in this video. Wow, I didn't expect that he delivered the video at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm falling asleep, but I'm glad I stayed awake to see that video. He came through with fire. You damn right I did. Which has also proven a consistent track record with me that when I say, listen, you can believe what I'm saying, I'm giving you legitimate reasons as of why you can believe what I'm saying. Why am I referencing all this? To bring you back to April Mason. Because what I need you to do right now is to give us a reason to as of what we're seeing in that video and why it's a complete contradiction to what you're saying. Show me on why we're supposed to believe your cousin's allegations. You're not giving us anything. You're not even giving us a logical critique of that video that debunks what we're seeing to as of why we should believe you. You're just telling us to go forth and believe you. Because that's what the narrative is. Because the narrative that is to be spun here is that black men are not protectors. Black men are the ones putting black women in danger. We're here fighting for black men because we care about you black men so much. After all, didn't we come up with Black Lives Matter? Did you really just say that, April Mason? Tell me you didn't just say that. Because, all right, here's the deal. Whenever somebody tells you that they're an advocate for black men, and you look at their past and their history, you got to question certain things. Because April Mason states that I've always been about black love. I've always been about black men. Now, let's just make a comparison here. According to April Mason, what she has stated is that she has been through some horrific experiences with black men. That she was raped and molested by her father. Then to find herself raped and molested all over again by her stepfather. So probably the most two important men in your life immediately failed you. The two men in your life, or the one who should have been validating you as a young girl, is where you get your first validation from, or supposed to, failed you. Then finds herself in abusive relationships where a black man smashes her head up against the wall. This is what she stated. But yet somehow, out of all of that, you mean to tell me that you are somehow about black men. You cheerlead black men. You're our biggest supporter. You're all about black love. Are y'all seriously believing this? But yet at the same time, for the expert and the one who's teaching black women how to be submissive and docile and be all about black men and get you a good black man, yet you yourself don't even have a black man. If that were the case, why are you sitting on social media putting up posts expecting black men that you don't know to come to your aid? I mean, y'all got to start to think about this at some point or another. April Mason is the very same one who would use the talking points. Let me go back it up for a second. Let me make a comparison, as a matter of fact, because I've dealt with black women who simply didn't have their fathers in their lives. Not being abused by them, not being sexually molested, but just simply the fathers weren't there. And what I've experienced in dealing with these black women is that they are very catty. They have a self-entitlement attitude. They have daddy issues. They lack respect for black men substantially. They are very difficult to deal with. They are condescending when they talk to you, meaning they don't have respect for you. In many cases, you cannot even civilly agree to disagree with them without it becoming a full-fledged argument. Now, this is from the black woman who just simply has not had a father in her household. Now, can you imagine how the black woman who has been molested and raped by not only her father, but a stepfather, and then to find herself in an abusive relationship or multiple abusive relationships with black men? Where do you think their mind frame is really at when it comes down to black men? Are you under the impression or so easily gullible to believe that this woman is somehow about black love? Because I'm all about you black men? Because I want to see you black women in happy relationships with black men? I mean, most of these damn swirlers that you see online. You know what? Let me not even go there. But let me say this much. To even go as far as to start to reference Black Lives Matter. Who was Black Lives Matter founded by? 2 lesbians, if not mistaken. How does the lesbian, how do they end up in a situation to where they're licking on females? Now, I don't know the exact history of the lesbians who have set up this movement, but if they have children by black men, then that right there really should be all I would have to even say about them. But let me go ahead and say what I need to say anyway. I'll walk you down the rabbit hole for those of you who don't know. Because if these lesbians have children, then that means at some point or another, you were dealing with black men. And I'm going to conclude if they're black children. So my question would be, how did you go from having children with black men to now you're a full-fledged lesbian or butch? How do you explain that? And if you sit down and you ask the butch, you ask the lesbian, why are you out here dealing with other women? In many cases, they're going to tell you, it's because I've tried dealing with men. And since we're dealing with the black lesbian and butch, they'll tell you, I tried dealing with black men. And I've gotten the same fucked up results each and every time. And you know what? I'm done with them. They would rather be out here licking and sticking other women before dealing with you black men. So we know that in many cases, lesbians and butches already have a disdain toward black men. We know this. Many of them are undercover feminists or blatant feminists. We know this. Okay? So that becomes the first thing that's a red flag sign. So for you black men, whenever these females tell you we came up with Black Lives Matter, and that Black Lives Matter is supposed to be a movement to help who? Black men. Because we know for the past 5 or 6 years, black men have been the ones getting gunned down by police officers. We know this. But yet it was created by two lesbians. How do we, once we know what a lesbian stands, their disdain for black men, how can we conclude that you will come up with this movement for black men? Why would you do this? Stick with me. And we know that, I made a video a while ago and I asked the question, what makes you black women race loyal? What? Because according to y'all, we date outside the race at more than 3 times the rate. We don't want to date you. According to y'all, you got Cynthia G creating video series talking about who they really choose. According to y'all, we don't protect, we don't provide, we don't produce, we fail as men to do what other races of men do. And April Mason gave y'all examples in these live streams about what white men were doing. And notice who she's supposed to be all about black love and black men, but yet she's comparing black men to how white men stand up to their communities and they're real masculine. Even when it comes down to protecting her as a black woman, how the white man is going to come forth and come to her rescue. When you start hearing talking points like this, once again, you don't have to show me a white man in the picture in order for me to know that you are a swirler. That's what you are. You can lie to everybody else and tell them this bullshit. You're not going to lie to me. April Mason is a swirler. But let's just take it back for a second, because black women have acknowledged for the longest. I've had black women come to my comment there talking about, see, black women, stop marching for these men. Stop doing it. Okay. Black women have acknowledged this shit for years. And what you're going to have are these females who are going to get online. I believe it was shortly after the death of Eric Garner. There was a black female who put up a post stating why she would not march for Eric Garner. And stated all of these reasons about how black men are not protecting them. How black men do not come to their aid. And when we need black men to be there for us, they don't do the same. But yet every time something happens to a black man, here we are, marching and standing up for them. And the first one's going to bat for them. A lot of you black men don't understand why this is done. But this woman made a post stating that she was not going to march for black men. And black women have been conceding these points well before 2014. As a matter of fact, Black Lives Matter, I believe, came out either in late 2014 or 2015. So if black women unanimously conceded this post that was put up about why she wasn't going to march for black men, then how do you explain Black Lives Matter coming into fruition? If not a few months later, to a year later. How do you explain that? How does that happen? How is it on one hand you are all unanimously that, hey, we need to stop defending these men because they're not doing the same for us. But yet, you turn around and come out with a movement for who? Black men. How do you explain this? Unless you're a hypocrite. Unless you're trying to spin a narrative. Unless you are painting a picture that doesn't exist. See, a lot of you black men don't understand why these females come out here and they talk about, oh, I'm all about black love. See, what they're doing is they're masking their deception under the guise of being about black love and about you, black man, which it's not. It really isn't. Never has been. But it sounds good. Because to the outsider looking in, it's a different story. But to the seasoned, trained veteran, to one with the season with to the trained eye like myself, I know the game that you're playing. I know what you're doing, and you won't fool me with this bullshit. So, when it comes down to the movement of Black Lives Matter, I believe it was sometime, I think it was either 2015 or 2016 when the riots were taking place. And I noticed that Brian Solange had produced a video maybe about a month ago. And it was a video from the lights of an Omiri Brown, also known as the Great Liberators. One of these simp-ass Negroes here on YouTube. And I say that specifically about him for a reason. Because he put up a post or a tweet from Cynthia G. And Cynthia G pretty much fawning over one of these Hispanic men on the TV show Power. But she tried to classify him as a biracial guy. Talking about how sexy she found him. This is what she was doing. But I've seen that TV show and I know that this is a white Hispanic man. So he was pretty much trying to expose the fact that she was a swirler. Just like April Mason is. But once again, you know, they're going to tell you, you don't got to prove and showcase the white man. This is what they're going to tell you. And listen, man, it wouldn't surprise me if April Mason got caught on a date with a white man, or got caught coming out of a utility closet with a white man, or coming out of a boiler room with a white man. And this is why they're doing it. Wouldn't surprise me if her cousin got caught. And this is why they're making these ridiculous videos saying the stupid shit that they're saying. Because the reason why, well, let me put a pause on that for a second. Cynthia G being exposed with this tweet, it's not the first time that Cynthia G has been exposed. Brian Solange exposed her back in 2015. He was the first one to expose her. When I caught wind of her, I automatically knew that this was a damn swirler. I didn't have to see footage to know, or pictures, or any type of proof to let me know that Cynthia G is a swirler. Just like I don't need to see it with April Mason, likewise with her cousin. I don't need to see this in order to know that these are swirlers. But Omiri Brown is one of the same Negroes who used to back Cynthia G. He was her running partner back in, 2017, 2018? Co-signing every one of her talking points, throwing black men completely under the goddamn bus. And all of a sudden, finding himself having a fallout with her once that whole situation took place with the Advice show, coming to find out that he has a white Hispanic wife. Immediately after having his fallout with Cynthia G, now all of a sudden you are co-signing the lights or the talking points of a David Carroll. You are co-signing the talking points of an Obsidian. And I'm trying to figure this out because here's the deal. The talking points of a David Carroll or an Obsidian or that of myself or Brian Solange, anybody who uses these talking points, these are extreme opposites. These are polar opposites compared to a Cynthia G. The talking points diametrically oppose one another. So what I'm trying to figure out is anybody with half a brain knows that Cynthia G is full of shit. You don't need to thoroughly look at her background to know. And it's not to say that she doesn't bring up good talking points, but we know that she's a hypocrite. We know this. Everyone knows this. This is why I don't take none of these pro-blacks that classify themselves as B1. We B1 first, the GOAT. Come on. If you find yourself backing up the lights of a Cynthia G, you're full of shit. There's just no way in hell I could take you seriously. But what I'm trying to figure out is how is it that on one hand, you are ride or die for one another. Then the next minute when you have a fallout, you are agreeing with the very same talking points of those that diametrically oppose the one who you was co-signing just a year ago. How is that? How is that? This is another reason why I cannot take the Great Liberator seriously. Just can't. I won't do it. No way, no how. Because like I told you, anybody with half a brain knows good and damn well that Cynthia G is full of shit. She's a swirler. She's been a swirler, and that's what it is. No other way you can talk about this. But now, based off of the reason why I reference this is because Brian Solange showcased the tweet of Cynthia G fawning over the white Hispanic man on the TV show Power. Furthermore, showed her fawning over this biracial baby. And the biracial baby was produced by a woman by the name of Aisha Evans. Some of you might know who I'm talking about, some of you might not. But Aisha Evans is a woman who had a video that went viral back when the riots were taking place with the Black Lives Matter movement. Aisha Evans, I mean, you see the picture that's circulating on the screen right now. And there was a video clip of where she was standing in front of police officers, the same cops, in a sundress, where she gets handcuffs placed on her and they escort her out of the scene. They lock her up. This woman is from Brooklyn, New York. Now, when I listened to Brian Solange make the video, he was surprised on why she would find herself going hundreds of miles away to be a Black Lives Matter activist, even though she had never done it before. Couldn't figure this out. And it was kind of a surprise to me that he didn't know this, because Brian Solange is a seasoned vet to my channel. But I will take the time to break this down, because immediately after I seen that, because I caught wind of that years ago, and when I seen it, I knew exactly what she was doing. And a lot of you black men might not understand, but I'm going to go ahead and explain how these women have paved the way for the revolving door. Because on an interview that she had, they asked her, why did you do this? Because you never done it before. She stated that she had to go ahead and stand up for her people. I want y'all to think about that. Stand up for her people. Yeah, stand up so much for your people because you love black people and black men so much that you didn't even go out and produce a black child. At best, that child is produced by a Hispanic man. At best. Okay? Many of y'all don't understand the game that they're playing. The question that you would have to ask is, why would a group of women go out their way and put themselves at risk to be dragged through the mud, to be humiliated, to be degraded, to be put down? And this is the depiction that they want to showcase of us. Because when I say that, I'm talking about you, black man. Because this is who she wants to depict as kidnapping her, bringing her into the sex trafficking industry, abusing her, smashing her head against walls when she's a little girl, sexually molesting and raping her, despite the fact that you're her father. All of these things, they have to depict us like this. And after that is all said and done, they say they will still be there backing us up, coming up with moves in the lights of a Black Lives Matter. They're going down to war zones and riots to get arrested by police officers because they want to defend black men so much, but yet you have biracial babies. Somebody has to explain all this, and many of y'all won't figure this out. But the reason why they do this is simple. Because to the outsider looking in, to the untrained eye, to the unseasoned vet, be it the white guys that they want to go after so much, when they look at this, they say, wow, these women are so loyal to you. These women are so loving and caring and nurturing for you. They're willing to put themselves at risk for you black guys. But you big black guys don't care for your own women. You big black guys disrespect your women every chance you get. You big black guys have no problem absolutely degrading your women. You big black guys are not loyal to your women because you're busy out here chasing white women and non-black women. How could you big black guys do this to your women who are so loving and caring and nurturing of you big black guys? But to the seasoned eye, to the trained vet, knows that that's full of shit. I bet you if you were to sit down and ask April Mason's ex-boyfriend, well, for those that you can find that are actually black, and ask them, what was it like dating her? They're probably going to tell you that she's very controlling, she's very condescending, she can be very disrespectful. They're probably going to tell you all kinds of horrific things that have taken place dealing with April Mason. Because women like this do not have respect for black men. They don't. However, they still want to have access to the protection of black men. They still want to have access to whatever they feel they can get out of black men. Because they, at some point or another, many of them know that that relationship with that white man is going to tank. And when it tanks, then I can be able to have access to that revolving door. And what do I mean when I say that revolving door? By depicting themselves, and this is another reason why April Mason was not looking for black men to come to her aid when she put up that post on social media. She did not care for them to come to her aid. That's not what she was looking for. Because she has to victimize herself. And what do I mean when I say she victimizes herself? Well, she can say she's being attacked by all these black men on social media. Well, she can say that none of these black men came to her aid when she said she felt unsafe. You're supposed to protect me. This can justify now why you might see her sitting down having dinner one night with a white guy. This might justify why you happen to catch her coming out of a home of a white man at 2 a.m. or coming out of a hotel room with this white man. Or some motel. What you doing in there? Oh, we was having a business meeting at 2 a.m.? What you doing in the janitor's closet? Oh, there was a mess on aisle 4. Wait a second. There wasn't no mess on aisle 4. I was just over there. Why is the mop bone dry? Hold on. What the hell? What you doing coming out this boiler room? Oh, it was a little chilly. We had to put the heat on. It was, we was trying to figure out how to get the heat on. Wait a second. We in the middle of August. We in Atlanta. It don't even get cold down here. What the fuck you mean you in the boiler room? What's that on you? What's on your mouth there? Stretch? What's that? What? Stretch marks on your lips? Oh, we know what's going on here. Sausage party. See, this can now justify this. Because when all those other excuses fail, then she can turn around and say, hey, well, see, I tried it with you black men. I was all about black love. But when I was in danger, you black men weren't there for me. This is the game that they're going to run on you. You black men kicked me while I was down. You abused me. And despite the fact that how much of your abuse that I received, I was still there for you black men. And it was not reciprocated. So what else am I supposed to do? I had no choice. I want to settle down and have a family. I want to level up. This is what she's going to tell you. This is the game that they're running on you. As a matter of fact, what perfectly illustrates my point. That minstrel ass Tyler Perry. You go ahead and you look at his very first Medea movie with the dude who was worked for the moving company. He was from Soul Train or whatever the case is, and that black woman who had the husband, the bald-headed dude, the dark-skinned bald-headed dude. And you've seen the way he treated her, right? Lived in a mansion, made all kinds of money. But at some point or another, and then you know what they always say is when you become wealthy, you don't deal with a black woman, you go get you something else. So what did they showcase in that movie? When he got his money, or at some point after having his money, he got tired of dealing with his black wife. Eventually to the point where he got him a Hispanic woman, a white Hispanic. Told her, listen, I'm putting your black ass out. This is her. She lives here now. She's taking your place. Get it. Get your black ass out of here. Get your shit and get the hell out of here. To the point where they had to depict him being so much of a savage to her that he literally dragged her out of the home while the mover was there helping her. Who's the mover? The Soul Train guy. So this is what they showcased. And this dude, of course, looking at her, realized, okay, wow, this is, you deserve better than this. And at some point or another, they started dating. But despite the fact that all of that took place, we seen what happened later on in that movie, where I think her husband was a lawyer or something like that. So he was defending a criminal and was paid a substantial amount of money and failed to get the job done. And when he failed to get the job done, he got the criminal pulled out a gun, shot him in the courtroom, paralyzed him, bam. When he was paralyzed and his money stopped flowing and everything came to a halt, that white Hispanic woman that he had, what did she do? She cleaned his bank and left his black ass. Left him. I'm done with you. I'm out of here. Who was there for him after this all took place? The same woman that he dragged out of a home one day to put that white Hispanic woman in there. Who was there to nurture him, to take care of him? Well, of course, she was a little abusive to him at first, but then she started taking care of him. And when it was all said and done, what happened? She eventually ended up leaving him. Went ahead and got with somebody else. Now, when you look at it from that perspective, yes, she was, well, in the movie, yes, she was justified. So I'm not even going to make an excuse for that because that dude was terrible to her. But what happened? What furthermore justified this? The fact that you can see her being mistreated, being abused, being kicked, being put out of a home like an animal, despite the fact that she was still loyal to him. So when it was time for her to up and make her move and say, all right, I'm done, I can do better, I deserve better than this, guess what? Nobody's batting an eye. They're saying, all right, you know what? You deserve it. And this is the same depiction that black women are trying to place us as black men in. This is the same category. It's now that you've been abused, it's just like when it came down to Corinne Gaines. No other time, you had a biracial female. But black women were classifying her as a black woman. Why? Any other time they'd be against her. They would say, this is the type of woman that you black men want to deal with. You don't care about us. They would have a problem with somebody like a Corinne Gaines. But since she took a bullet, they'll try to say, well, she took it for you black men, but look who left her. It was a black man that left her in the home because you don't protect her, despite the fact that the bitch was a fucking psychopath trying to go to war with police officers in military gear. Are you serious? With just a shotgun and children in your damn house. Now, we can say that Negro was a coward, not for him leaving her black ass in there, but the fact that he left those other children in there. He should have grabbed all those damn kids and left. Fuck that, I can't save you. You a grown ass damn woman. You do what you want to, but me and these damn kids, we getting the hell out of here. But no, they will classify him as a coward because he didn't stay there to get his ass shot or risk losing his damn life for this crazy ass fucking woman. A woman that they would have condemned any other time had she been in black spaces, getting the attention from black men, being the cream of the crop by black men, they would have a problem with her. But since she fits the narrative, all of a sudden she's a black woman now. Y'all, how could y'all do that to y'all black queen? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. What these women are doing are spinning a narrative that will justify why she can go in and out of that revolving door whenever she feels fit. So when she's ready to go out there and start dating white men and you ask her, wait a second, why are you dating white guys? She can pin you into a corner. Look at how you fucking treated me. Look at all the shit I went through with you. Now here I am with Brad. He treats me better. I deserve to explore my options. And now when that relationship tanks with Brad, guess what? She can still come back to you and you don't even have the right to refuse her now. This is the predicament that she's playing chess, not checkers. At this point in time, it's checkmate. You can't go nowhere. Why can't you go nowhere? Well, you're the reason why I was out there dating Brad in the first place. That's what she's going to tell you. You're the reason why this has happened. Because had you been there for me, had you been backing me up, had you been supporting me, had you protected me, had you provided all this bullshit, she's going to run on you. You're going to sit there and tuck your tail and say, all right. It is essentially like her telling you, you know what? She's going to go out there. She's going to taste the rainbow. She's going to go out there with Chads and Brads and taste the phalluses of white men. And yet, when that is said and done, she's going to tell you, stay right there. Stay there in that corner. Don't go nowhere. She's going to tell you she's going to come right back. And after she done got finished tasting the phalluses of white men, she's going to come back and kiss you in the lips and tell you, no, you got to stay here and taste the rainbow with me. That's what she's going to tell you. That is equivalent to your woman going out there telling you she's going to suck somebody else off. And while she's down there servicing that person, going to come back and kiss you right in your mouth with it and tell you don't fucking move. Stay there. Endure this. This is essentially what you're dealing with. Many of you black men might not get it, but that's exactly what it is. This is exactly why they have to shame you. They have to shame you into defending them. They have to spin the narrative of all of these terrible things happening, despite the fact that April Mason was in no danger, despite the fact that her cousin was in no danger, despite the fact that both of them were in on this lie. Because they have to justify why they are going out here dating white men. Because they still want to have access to you black men. This is what it is. Likewise, when it comes down to an Yvette Irene, who sits on a live stream, a black woman with biracial children sitting on live streams with you black men talking about pro-blackness and lecturing y'all on what pro-blackness is. Stop. 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 Likewise, with why Cynthia G spends more time demonizing black men. Because they have to justify, and you can tell this once you start listening to them talk about how white men defend their women and how they're such protectors and even keep black women safe. Forget about it. They're swirlers. There's no other way you can say this. But she has to demonize you. She has to depict you dragging her through the mud. She has to depict you kicking her while she's down, stomping her, being abusive, neglecting her, leaving her for other races of women. She is the least desired by you because behind her doing this, it justifies why she could go out here and date outside the race, why she can go out here and swirl it up. This is what it is. This is another reason why Crystalline Carrison, despite the fact that she is hashtag divested a long time ago from Blackistan, still cannot stop talking about black men every chance she gets. It is the same thing that I say. It is the same thing that David Carroll has stated. Listen, we don't care if you did outside your race, but stop using black men as your means to why you're out here dating outside your fucking race. We're tired of hearing that shit. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead and do what you want. But stop putting us in the light for your reason to justify dating outside the race. But the reason why they do this is, once again, is as long as she can successfully depict herself in a light to be a perpetual victim, she has now found the means to justify why she can go out there and have access to that revolving door, and she can come in and out of that door as many times as she like, and you can't call her out on it. See, because other races of women understand, if they start pulling this bullshit with their men, you're done. You want to go over there and start going to the other side, you're done. Don't come back over here. They understand this. The black woman knows she has limited options. There's not many choices that she has. So if the other choices don't work for her, she can come back now and have access to you black men. This is how you can have an Irene Yvette who has biracial children by a white man, at one point married to a white man, but yet has one of you Negroes laid up with her, hugged up in her profile picture. You look at her thumbnail picture when she's on these live streams. One of you simp-ass Negroes are in the picture with her, because this is what it is for y'all. They don't want you to think. This is why they tell you just react. You're supposed to be reactive, not proactive. No. But they will tell you this. Because behind you reacting means you don't think. Means you don't question her motives. Means you don't question whether what she's telling you is truth or whether it's a complete fucking lie. This is what it is. And I've told y'all how black women will run this game on y'all. Everything that they do, when you start seeing them talking about we all about black love, you need to start questioning that. And I'm not saying this about every last one of them, but far too many of them. You need to start questioning them. I mean, look at Chrissy. Was one who was all about pro-blackness at one point in time. Black love and black men. Now look at her, a pro-swirler. That's a typical example. There was another female who got exposed earlier during the year, who used to constantly make videos going up against swirlers and Crystalline Carrison, but yet found herself leaving her, what was it, I Am Emmett? Who would find herself leaving Crystalline Carrison a personal message talking about she was right. Come to find out this very same woman is an ex-swirler. Well, not an ex-swirler. They're current swirlers or failed swirlers. They just couldn't secure the bag. And this is why they come back to Blackistan. Likewise, when I had, what was it, back in 2011, there was a black female came to my comment thread, trolling my comment thread, talking a bunch of foolishness. And then left me a 3-page long personal message talking about how she was only dating white and Asian men. And then when she realized how all the horrific things that black people went through, decided she was going to be all about black people and wanted to start doing things to help black people. But yet every black man that she described in her video and showcased were biracial, light, bright, damn near white men. This is the game and when I called her out, she eventually showed her true colors. But this is the game that these women are running on you. And I'm trying to tell you, brothers, y'all better pay close attention when you find these females sitting up here talking this pro-black bullshit. Y'all better watch out for that. April Mason, I'm all about black love and black men. Where's your black man? How come you don't have one? And like I told y'all, you got to wonder what's the sudden circumstances that led to them making this story. Why would you do this? Well, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody happened to have pictures somewhere floating around of her dating white men, or coming out of a fucking hotel room with a white man, or coming out of a janitor's closet or a utility room. It would not surprise me if somebody has pictures of her sitting down eating dinner at a restaurant with a white man late at night. It would not surprise me. Because now, if I'm going to get caught out here for doing this, then I might as well start to set the narrative immediately. Fuck it, you Negroes tried to kidnap my cousin. And oh, see, the Negroes ain't protect. They're the ones harming us. And when I put up the post on social media, they didn't respond. They didn't want to keep me safe. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? Hey, that's the reason why I'm out here dating. That's what you're going to find. This is the excuse. They're setting the stage. Everything is pre-positioned. It's like chess. If you're a good chess player, you're planning your moves well in advance before you. 3 or 4 moves ahead, you already done planned. You already know, okay, this is how I'm going to set this stage up and how I'm going to get this to work out in my favor. And this is exactly what we are dealing with. A lot of you black men don't understand this. You haven't figured this out. But like I told y'all, what they are doing, just like the Aisha Evans chick, the one who, the viral image, went to Baltimore, got locked up. It wouldn't surprise me if that whole thing was a hoax, if it was all staged. Because they have to depict themselves being abused at the expense of black men or for the cause of black men. Because why? What she has successfully showcased is that I'm ride or die for black men. I'm all about you black men. And despite the fact that she has a biracial baby, she can now redeem herself. There are too many examples of this. The black chick that was standing outside of a club in Las Vegas at a Chris Brown concert, crying because black guys weren't dancing with her. Who was her first preference? White men. The baby that she had, the biracial child. That's a rape child. She was raped and that's how she had that baby. Didn't abort it, like I told y'all. Had that been a black man's baby, she'd have got rid of that shit right away. Immediately. Wouldn't be no child to be discussed here. But immediately after having that, or upon having that discussion with Angel Ramirez, talks about how she was in the club dancing with whites and Asian men. And how when you see me dancing with these white and Asian guys, you're supposed to come and steal me away from the show. Man, fuck that, man. Get the hell out of my face with that bullshit. I ain't about to do nothing. You want to go over here to dance with white and Asian guys? Do you. I'm not stopping that shit, nor am I getting involved. Because like I told y'all, these females still feel that they have access to black men. Despite the fact that they have shown you their colors a long time ago, and I've given y'all examples of one particularly, and I will reference this until I'm blue in the face. This is back, 2015? Early 2015? I go out one night, and I go to a club. I think it was the Red Roosters, right over there in Harlem. I think 124th Street. I go out by myself, and I just say, I'm just going to go there. I'm not looking to dance, but I'm just going to go and just observe. Just sit back and analyze. Stand up, find a wall to stand up against and post up against that wall. As I'm waiting online to get into this club, I see a black female standing over to my left. Right behind is a white man, has his arm wrapped all around her stomach, holding her tight. Right then and there lets me know, okay, she's yours. She's with you. The two of y'all came in here together. Y'all obviously know each other to that extent. Okay, whatever. What I didn't pay close attention to is how hard she was looking at me. So I didn't pay no attention. Because that's just how I am. I've had plenty of people tell me, you didn't see that girl was looking at you? I'm like, no, I wasn't even paying attention. Well, you sure you didn't say? Because I don't be thinking about this shit. Honestly, I don't. So I go downstairs and I pay to get in. And I find me a wall to stand up against. I'm standing there just watching what's going on the whole damn time. Whatever. And out of nowhere, and I've referenced the story to y'all time and time again, this black woman comes out of nowhere, walks right up on me, gets real close, and then starts dancing up on me. Now, just a little while ago, you were in there with a white guy. All right, fuck it. I'm not here to date you. I'm not about to marry you. I'm not trying to be in a relationship with you. I ain't even trying to take your black ass home. I'll just dance and have a good time. This very same woman has the audacity to turn around and ask me, can you buy me a drink? Whispers it in my ear like she's going to say something sexy to me. Trying to game me. I'm thinking to myself, wow, the nerve. Okay. So we're going to go down this road again. All right, fuck it. And I told y'all this before. I asked her, what you drinking? She mentioned, can you get me a glass of wine? So I go, all right, cool. Stay right here. I go to the bar. I order 2 cranberry juices. 1 for me and 2 for me. And I'm sitting there drinking both of my cranberry juices. Because I'm like, you must be out your fucking mind. The nerve of you to come along and think. So then she shows up. Because I guess she got frustrated at some point or another and sees me drinking the cranberry juice and she gets pissed off and walks off. That's the last time I've ever seen a bitch again. And I'm thinking to myself, I started laughing because I'm like, the fucking nerve, the audacity First of all, for you to come in here with another man, and you're not asking him to buy. First, the fact that you even dance with another man, that's disrespectful to your man. But secondly, the fact that you would ask me for a drink and you're here most certainly with a white man, especially that I know the history to as of why you black women choose to go out here and get white men. And I'm going off of y'all talking points now. I don't care who the hell you with. But according to you, according to your narrative, you're with white men based off of the fact that they are better providers. They are protectors. They have no problem spending money. You're getting with the white man because he's everything that I am not as a black man, according to your narrative. Okay, fine. I will accept that. And since I have accepted that, you know what? I find it offensive that you would come along to my broke black ass, according to your narrative now, and expect me to pay for your fucking drink. And get the fuck out my face with that shit. Go ask that white man to buy you a goddamn drink. Why are you coming to the man who doesn't have money versus a Waldo who has all the goddamn money to buy you a nice home and put you in this? This is what you got black women sitting on YouTube talking about right now. How white men bought me a nice home. How the white man got me this. How the white man got me. Okay, then why are you coming to the black man? Especially now that we see, listen, you're not one who's talking about get you a white man. You showed up to the club with a white man. You showed up to the club with a white man. But yet you figured you were going to get something out of my broke black ass. Once again, get the fuck out my face with that shit. But this is how a lot of these females think. They are setting the stage for that revolving door. But now allow me to say this before I close out this video. I'll probably try to keep this at 1 hour and 45 minutes if I can. Because a lot of you black men have gone out here and have defended black women unconditionally. And we're going to reference one in particular, New Possibilities. Now, I've noticed that he's kind of fallen back off of this. And listen, I don't have a problem with black men defending black women. I have a problem when you do it unconditionally. The reason why is because it goes unnoticed, it goes unrecognized, and what we have seen is their blatant hypocrisy. And I'm talking about that of the black women. Now, New Possibilities has videos on his channel defending black women that dates all the way back up until 2009. 2009. Okay, that's a long time ago. That's 10 years ago. Also, he's been known for making videos defending black women. He's made a video a couple of years ago, and the thing is, I've warned him about this when it came down to Serena Williams. He made a video defending Serena Williams. All hail the Queen Serena Williams. I told him, don't do that. Don't do that because I'm telling you, you are going to be deeply disappointed. Serena Williams is a swirler. It is just that simple. He tried to provide some examples showcasing black men that she has dated to say that she is not, and she still dates black men. And I told him once again, don't do that. You are going to find yourself deeply disappointed. And I'll be damned. What is it? Not even a year later, she was married to Alexis Ohanian, the co-owner of a racist website. Sums up my point. So what I've been saying for years has come to fruition. Likewise, when it came down to him defending the likes of A Successful Ladies Live. And I'm thinking to myself once again, and listen, Successful Ladies Live came back onto the scene in 2017. And back at that time, I was on her like white on rice. I was on her because I knew she was full of shit. I wasn't going to sit down having a conversation with her. I wasn't going to sit down and reason with her because I told y'all before. I'm through reasoning with blatant insanity. I will not waste my time doing it for not 1 second. But he finds himself defending her position. Brings her on to a live stream so she can explain her position. And once again, I told him don't do that because it's going to backfire on you. And lo and behold, I'll be damned. Well, he first responded back showcasing that, I guess trying to defend her and showcasing what she stated and this is what she meant and how it was wrong. But I'll be damned, not even a month later, if she was on a live stream roasting him. This is what she was doing, roasting him. Now, here's what I found strange. Because New Possibilities never, I mean, y'all all know my history since I've been on YouTube. Y'all know me when I was in my prime. And not to say that I can't go back to that, that's easy. But I've changed up some things substantially since being in my prime. And I'm talking about from 2013, 14, 15, and early 2016. Y'all know how disrespectful I can be. And when I was on Successful Ladies Live, when I was riding her like white on rice, I quoted the term successful hoes live. This is what I said about her. Because I have no respect for somebody like that. I'm not trying to reason with somebody like that. I'm not trying to negotiate with somebody like that because someone like this is crazy. They're sick in the head. They need professional help as far as I'm concerned. Now, I mentioned how a month later she found herself roasting him on a live stream. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. You would figure that it made no sense because he didn't disrespect her. Now, had that level of disrespect had been in reserve for myself, okay, fine, I deserve it. Because y'all know how I can be. If that disrespect would have been reserved for the likes of a David Carroll, or Brian Solange, and Obsidian, that's more or less to be warranted. Now, like I told y'all, I quoted the term successful hoes live. She was the same female getting upset with me because I had the rags in the background of the videos. She was getting upset about this. But at no point in time would she find herself going in on me on a live stream. Even to the point where she responded in the live stream saying, hey, look, brother, don't you be calling me no hoe. I never disrespected you. So wait a second. Hold on. After being on your black ass like flies to shit, when you do take the time to address me, you mean to tell me I'm worthy of being referred to as a brother? That's interesting. Because you know why that's interesting? Because I actually stated something about this years ago. And I told this to men like New Possibilities, that these women will have more respect and would rather deal with a man who will check them before they will deal with the man or respect the man who is going to co-sign their every move. They do not respect men who are going to get online and co-sign that. They're just not going to do it. She gave an unwarranted level of disrespect toward this man. That wasn't warranted. It completely wasn't. But would not show the lights of myself or David Carroll or somebody else, particularly myself, because, I was riding her like white on rice. So like I said, had she come at me like that, it would have been warranted. It would have been understood. But she hadn't. Let's take this back to 2016 for a second. Let's take it a little bit further than that. As a matter of fact, we'll go back to 2015. I remember in 2015, after I had that radio show with Crystal and Karen, that she had or found herself on the comment thread of New Possibilities. And I forgot which video it was, but she was talking about how articulated he was, how well mannered he was, how well spoken, and how handsome he was. Sometime in 2016, when she got into her fallout with the Veganator, Angel Ramirez Jordan attempts to defend her in a live stream. New Possibilities, we both know at one point in time they were cool. I don't know where their status is now, but at that point in time, they still, I guess, had some kind of interaction with each other. So he posts on the comment thread of that video, I guess, pretty much calling it out. Like, listen, you can't defend this woman. Crystal and Karen then finds herself attacking him on the comment thread. Going hard. I used to respect you at one point in time, but now I hate you. This is what she stated. Telling him how he guzzles the white man's balls, just saying all types of disrespectful shit. And I couldn't figure this out. And this actually went on for a while, because she would find herself following him on not only his videos, but the comment thread of other people's videos writing the same shit. As a matter of fact, when she produced that video, The Kill Shot, when she attempted to chastise and lecture black men about being protectors once again, a woman who completely has divorced herself from black men, When she was talking about y'all guzzling the white man's balls, she specifically used that line toward him. And I'm saying this because she wrote this to him in a comment thread. Okay? Now, once again, I could not figure out why this was. It never dawned on me. I'm like, why is she obsessed with this guy? And listen, I've had my disagreements with the man, but listen, it's never that damn serious. To find yourself obsessed with another man because he disagrees with you, it didn't dawn on me at that time. Then it started to make sense. Then it just hit me a few weeks ago, and that's the reason why I'm even referencing this shit right now. Because New Possibilities, what he did was he established a track record of being a defender of black women. Unconditionally. That's what it was. And when he didn't defend her, she felt otherwise. But that was the reason why Crystalline Carrison was coming to his comment that in the first place when she initially did, leaving those compliments. Because according to her eyes and what she sees, he had paid or set the stage of being a known defender, an unconditional defender of black women, regardless to whatever hypocrisy they engage in. And she figured, well, shit, you're cool with Angel Ramirez. You defend black women no matter what. Despite the fact that black women have not reciprocated those videos that he's made in defense of him. And I'm talking about all the way back to 2009, which in many cases, many of them didn't even go ahead and view those videos. Didn't even view them. But she must have figured, after all, you're cool with Angel Ramirez, and he's caping away from me, so clearly you can do it. And this is what also took place, and this is before I even had my discussion with Crystalline Carrison on the Chad Factor radio. I had a 3-way conversation with her over the phone with Chad Factor. And this is what she was looking for. She asked me, after having a conversation, hey, can you speak up for me and say some nice things about me on your channel? This is what she expected. Here we are talking about a black woman who has divorced herself from Blackistan, who encourages black women to go ahead and get white men. I don't care what she tries to tell you her channel is about or predicated toward. What she says and her actions are two total different things. Two total opposites. But this is a black woman who encourages black women, by large, to stop dating black men. Even stated it in a live stream of Brooklyn Blue. I'm trying to pull them away from black men. This is what she stated. Yet at the same time, after taking endless shots at black men on her channel, would come to me, knowing my positions, knowing that where I stand when it comes down to her, would attempt to try to soft talk me and try to get me to speak some kind words about her on my fucking channel. I told her, no, get the fuck out of here with that shit. You made your mess, you clean it up. I gave her one suggestion, and I said, listen, if that's the case, showcase black couples on your platform to show that you're mutual. And she said, hell no. So I said, there is no way in hell you are going to come to me and expect me to speak up and clean up the shit you created. That's a fucking insult. You do it. Don't ask me to do no shit like that again. So right then and there, the line was drawn in the sand where I stand with you. I'm not your fucking friend. I'm not your ally. I'm not here to speak up on your behalf. I don't give a fuck about none of that. So it was made blatantly clear on where I stand. The history and the consistency of my channel has a consistent track record that makes it blatantly clear. And this is another reason why black women are not going to come to me attempting to shame me into defending them when they engage in hypocrisy. They know better than this. As a matter of fact, shortly with that Chad Factor radio show that took place, David Carroll called in and ripped her a new asshole. To the point where she got off the phone crying. This is what it was. I referenced that to say this. Because the way she went in on New Possibilities, who had engaged in none of the above, you know what I'm saying? I had been on her, riding her black ass like flies to shit for years. We've known this. So my positions are well known and documented. David Carroll, like I said, the video is still up. Ripped her a new asshole on the Chad Factor radio show to the point where she hung up crying. But notice when she responded to David Carroll, she responded to him, sending him a picture of her face all dolled up, talking about how you want to make a video, talking about how you want to kiss my pretty face. And when that brother responded back saying, fuck that shit, you ain't about to fool me with them pounds of war paint you got on. I know what you about. then decides to leave him a personal email talking about, can we have a personal dialogue without all the anger this time? He showed it to me himself years ago when this happened. Notice how she did not respond to David Carroll like that. Notice how she will not reference me in any video. Even when the whole Vegator shit came on, she was reluctant to say my name. Other women had to come along and mention my name. She ain't make no fucking videos about me. Not for one goddamn second. And once again, when you think about the level of disrespect that she given to new possibilities, had that disrespect been warranted for brothers like myself? Understandable. Had that been warranted to David Carroll? Understandable. But notice how she didn't respond like that to either one of us. Notice how in many cases these swirlers will avoid our names altogether because they know not them two brothers. There are certain brothers that, you can include Brian Solange in that one, but there are brothers who they will not reference. We can't even, leave them brothers alone. Leave them alone. We can talk about black men as a collective. We ain't even gonna touch them. And you got to wonder why this was. Because once again, and I say this and I use this as an example to warn you black men, because when you go ahead and you start to co-sign women as a collective and defend black women unconditionally, guess what? This is what you're gonna find. When you fail to deliver, or when you don't meet their expectations, guess what? They'll bite your head off. Just like, what was it? The Great Liberators. Co-signing Cynthia G's talking points, backing her on everything. She would have him on every live stream to validate and substantiate what she is saying. But the one time when he disagrees with her, you'll see the level of disrespect. And I tried to tell you, black men, sitting here caping and co-signing these women unconditionally is going to gain you no respect. It doesn't. And I'll be damned if it hasn't. Because what you've done is you set forth a path to where they believe that you are supposed to jump up and defend them no matter what. No matter how many white guys she wants to go out here and date. Something happens over there, you better get my back. No matter how much she talks about she's hashtag divesting from you. And how she doesn't want to deal with you. And how she will elevate white men over you. When something goes wrong over there on the other side of that fence, guess who she's going to turn around and come to? And expect to deliver. They're not going to come to brothers like myself. They know the brother of logic and common sense, we can't even begin to talk this bullshit to him. They know better than this. They're not going to come to me with that. And I've had, as a matter of fact, I remember a couple of years ago. And as a matter of fact, no. I'm just going to leave it at this. They won't respond to me like that. At least not directly. They won't. Because at the end of the day, what it is I've established a track record. I'm not going to cape for you. You go ahead and you denounce black men, there's nothing for me to talk about. You don't get my defense. You don't get my protection. You're not going to shame me. You're not going to pin me into a corner. You're not going to... It's not happening. You're not doing none of that. It's not happening. Because I know where you stand. Because I will get online and debunk your talking points. You're not going to do things to attempt to redeem your image and think I'm going to be stupid enough to fall for it. It's just not happening. Because I know what time it is. I understand patterns. I understand track records. I'm looking at that goddamn resume. And sometimes I might not have to see what goes on in the dark. It comes to light. A lot of you black men don't understand this because why? You're running around listening to the examples of what these women are telling you what being a real man is, and it isn't. It isn't. Because you running around being a real man according to their narrative, they don't even respect you. You can't tell me that I need to sit up here making videos, elevating you, putting you on a pedestal, but yet when an Asian man does it, when a white man does it, within 2 or 3 minutes, within less than a year, it has over 300,000 views, but I made a video 15, 20 minutes long in depth and details, and it barely gets any views within the past 4 or 5 years, I'm done. There's nothing to talk about. You will not shame me. And this is another reason why I tell you brothers, y'all need to seriously be careful. When you see these women getting online talking about, I'm all about you, black man, and I love you, and this and that and that, you need to be careful. Because in many cases, she's paving the way for that revolving door. And once she has set the stage for that revolving door, the way she, in the back of her mind, in the dark corridors of her brain, she believes that she can have access to going in and out of that revolving door whenever she feels like it. And you're just supposed to be there waiting for her with open arms. And I say, to hell with that. This is the way I operate when it comes down to women. If I'm not your first choice, I don't want to be there at all. Just that simple. There ain't nothing to talk about. You can't come to me after you've sampled all these other options thinking you were going to do better. And when that didn't work, you think you can come back and I'm still supposed to be there waiting for you with open arms. Fuck that shit. It ain't happening. Kick rocks. That's where I'm at. I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm not going back and forth with you. You're not going to find me having debates with you. I'm not posting comments on your videos. None of the above. It is a waste of my time. I let my actions be the representative for me. Just that simple. And with that being stated, that's all I got to say in this video. And I'll catch you on the flip side.